For a sugar-free alternative to energy drinks and other sodas, use code BigFry at gamersubs.gg. Links down below. Pick up a cup, pick up a tub, and support the channel and get 10% off of your entire order. Let's get into it. I'm sure most of you guys remember Fntastic, the studio behind The Day Before. Known for misleading trailers, fake gameplay showcases, volunteer-based development, constant delays with bullshit excuses, and ultimately dropping one of the worst cash grab disasters in gaming history. They hyped up an ambitious open-world survival MMO only to deliver a glorified extraction shooter that felt like an asset flip straight out of the bargain bin on Steam. And then 4 days after releasing that game to the public, they just decided to shut down, and thankfully Steam jumped in and offered refunds to everybody, meaning they couldn't get away with the scam. The Day Before developers, Fntastic, is suing a media outlet for calling them a scam. Huh. That's fucking weird. After the fiasco of what was once Steam's most wish-listed game, The Day Before development studio Fntastic, responsible for what many consider the worst video game of 2023, is now seemingly exploring new ways to make money. Recently, they filed a lawsuit against a media outlet for labeling their failed game a scam and accusing them of borrowing gameplay mechanics from other games, a description Fntastic claims has damaged their reputation. So not only did they lie about the state of the game and the features that are in it in all of their trailers, which most people would deem a scam, they then put the game out and then closed 4 days later. And Fntastic likes to do this revisionist history where they say that, look, we gave the money back, when in reality, what happened at the time was Steam basically forced refunds to happen because it was clearly a rug pull. It was clearly a scam from every sense of the word. You lied in the trailers, you put the game out, it wasn't what you said it was, and then you shut down. Steam offered refunds, and then Fntastic was basically forced to like give the money back. Like, of course, Fntastic didn't make any money off of the scam, but that doesn't make it any less of a scam. I'm reading this article on 80 level, but the actual outlet that is being sued is Yakusha.info, and they put an article out. The disgraced Fntastic filed a lawsuit against Yakusha.info, and I gotta say, like, I don't know who these guys are. There's 17 comments on the post. This is obviously being translated to English. There's 3,400 clicks on this specific article. They don't seem like that big of a news outlet, which is okay. It's just I do find it funny that like Fntastic, located in Kazakhstan, filing a claim with the arbitration court of Yakusha against the editorial board. They're going after, in my opinion, a smaller news outlet for calling them a scam, and I'm kind of wondering why they're not going wide against everybody. I mean, dude, everybody on the internet called this fucking game a scam. The one thing that people are, I'm seeing comments all over in my Discord, people are saying like, there's no fucking way. Dude, when it comes to court, sometimes things don't work out the way that you logically think they would. This case could set precedent, and if Fntastic can basically sue these guys and in the court of law say, oh, this wasn't actually a scam, it could set precedent, and Fntastic could go after everybody, including myself. And so this is where the chunk and the meat starts. The Kazakhstani company managed to order a linguistic study. It concluded about the expressions in the articles that were written by Yakusha Info. The following expressions: the game developers borrowed mechanics from other games, and the word scam was used in the description of their past activities. These expressions, according to the experts that Fntastic hired to look at the expressions, concluded that it affected the company's reputation. So to sum up where we're at, Fntastic hires a company to look at a couple different expressions used in some of the articles that these people wrote. The website then changed the word scam to embarrassment. They doubled down on some other terms, basically making them more accurate, because where they said, you know, talking about borrowing from other games, they were actually quoting American bloggers. However, with all of those changes and, you know, to avoid double understanding, it did not satisfy the Ghost of X, the Fntastic company. They offered to settle the conflict out of court only if we remove the articles and apologize. Based on the basic principle of journalism, we consider them pressure on freedom of speech and cannot remove the materials. Ooh, bars. It should be noted that despite the appearance of similar articles all over the world, Fntastic decided to sue Yakut journalists. So I think this is just a translation error. They basically said, remove the articles, apologize publicly. The website told them to go fuck themselves. And I think what this means is Fntastic decided to sue them. And they point out, despite the appearance of similar articles all over the world, articles, reviews, YouTube videos, Fntastic decided to sue Yakut journalists. And in this article on level 80, they say here, as I alluded above, news websites, YouTubers, streamers, gaming influencers, and commenters beyond count have dubbed the day before a scam and used even more colorful descriptions. Yet, out of all of them, the team claimed it was Yakusha.info that damaged their reputation. And I think, again, what this comes down to is they're trying to set precedent in a court of law. Now, whether or not they can then take that and sue YouTubers that are living in other countries, who knows? Or even IGN, like anybody who basically called this game a scam, if there's precedent in a court of law, these are the kind of people that you bet your bottom dollar would fucking try to go after you to silence, critique, and silence your opinion on their scam. Ironically, the simple act of a company waging lawfare, likely to be unsuccessful but nonetheless, tends to be seen by the gaming community as distasteful and harms one's reputation, creating a never-ending cycle where Fntastic tarnishes its image by accusing others of tarnishing its image. It's fucking ridiculous. But you know what? It's like par for the course for these kind of people. If you guys have been following the channel for a long time, you know that when people get called out for doing scammy kind of things, a lot of the time it leads to them trying to not necessarily go straight to court, but reach out, hey, remove the video. We don't want to, we don't want, they engage in lawfare. I mean, waging lawfare, like that's exactly the description. I've seen it many fucking times before. Yakusha or Yakusha.info. I hope they don't give in. I mean, they already changed some shit around. I wouldn't have even done that. Because at the end of the day, you changed the shit and it wasn't enough anyway. They still went and sued you. So fuck them. Stand on business, stand by your opinion and your critique and your review, and fuck them. If you fully wrote a review on a game and you believe that it is a scam based on reasons A, B, C, and D, then there's really nothing else to say. And in the case of the day before, your trailers weren't indicative of the game that you sold on Steam. There were many missing features. There were graphics in your trailers that weren't indicative of what the game actually looked like. You sold the game for a price and shut down 4 days later, closing the servers. And you didn't offer refunds. That was Steam that unequivocally, like across the board, no matter what, offered refunds for the game. Admittedly, you did not make any money. That's like saying like, oh yeah, I broke into somebody's house, I was gonna rob them, but I didn't really get a chance to get anything because I got caught. So, I mean, technically I shouldn't go to jail. Fuck yourself. We're definitely gonna be following the situation further if a clown court somehow finds these guys guilty of damaging their reputation. And I mean, it's gonna be a tough fight because you really, like, infringement on its right to free speech, you have to really prove that these guys were lying about their assessment of the game. And that's gonna be tough because these guys, Yakusha.info, can literally go to court and show every single other article from every single other journalist, every YouTube video, comments, reviews, like everybody across the internet, maybe outside of like a 1 or 2% of people, believed that they were lying and scamming their audience. That's gonna be an uphill battle for Fntastic. But I mean, hey, it's not the first time they've been involved in stupid litigation, am I right? By the way, this quote from the Gostyev brothers, when the game comes out, people will finally see the truth. That quote aged like a fine wine for us, man. Because everybody saw the truth, we spoke it, and now you're trying to sue people for it. Fucking idiots. My name is BigfryTV. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like on the video, subscribe for more content. Fuck Fntastic. Fuck the day before. And honestly, man, I'll just be glad when I see these motherfuckers leave the industry. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.